You've saved hundreds of millions of lives with the cocaine you've blown up in the Caribbean.
Have you done business with the post office lately?
Oh, the last time I went to a post office when I got my passport renewed, like a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's the
How
only
was
time I
that?
go to a post office. Have you been to a
How
post office recently?
Not yeah. Well, kind of. There's a post office at the gas station. That's where my PO box is.
Okay.
Dude, it's going downhill. I don't I have nothing good to say about the post office right now.
As far as like how the mail is the mail slow or is the facility that you go to like being poorly run?
The facility's being poorly run, but that's to be expected up here.
It
And
is a post office inside a gas station, as you just said.
right.
I feel like the standards can't be too high.
So here's what happened.
Okay.
I got an email saying that my an additional service to my post PO box has been denied. Um, you need to give us a you need to yeah, it just said that. It didn't say give me a call or anything like that. So I was like, well, what is this? So I went online and like my PO box isn't even attached to my sign in, my login with with the post office.
Okay.
So there was one thing. So then I tried to give them a call. I called the local number. It rang and rang and rang and rang, went to some kind of voicemail. Not where I could leave a voicemail, went to some automated service where it hung up on me at the end. And
Okay.
then I called the post office main phone number. Same thing. Just rang and rang and rang, no answer. I did this multiple times just to make sure. Can't get a hold of anybody at the post office.
I'm gonna go
Then
out on a limb and say those were some of the people that Doge fired. Like, these people aren't doing anything important, and they probably
we don't
fired them.
need customer service in the post office.
Yeah, I know with different agencies they did. They fired like the customer service representative, so I wouldn't be shocked if the post office was part of that.
Yeah. So then I ordered a package, some like mailers for my business, and it was supposed to be delivered like 2 weeks ago now. And DHL was the delivery guy.
Okay.
So I get an email from I think DHL or the people I ordered the postcards from saying that the package was undeliverable. No, there was no safe space to drop it.
Okay.
So then I called the DHL and I figured out that the post office took control of the package and was delivering it.
Okay.
And they didn't want to drop it off at my place. Like I have packages delivered. You know, some people don't deliver here, so that's why I have the PO box.
Mm.
So, but I couldn't use a PO box for that anyway. It's a whole nightmare. So then I got into this thing where I was like, well, so remember when Trump hired the
His name is DeJoy. I can't remember his first name, like Louis DeJoy or something along those lines.
something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Trump hired him and he was on record saying that he thinks the post office should go away.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you put somebody in charge that wants to get rid of the post office. Anyway, Biden goes in office. He didn't hire anybody. He just left that guy in, which makes me kind of think that both sides want the post office to go away.
I don't know about that. I think maybe DeJoy, maybe Trump put him there, wanting him to basically torpedo the post office, and maybe he didn't. Maybe he got in there and started trying to run it.
Well, the post
He's still
office
there,
is
I
just
think.
going downhill. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had a PO box for 8.5 years, and I've only seen it get worse and worse.
Okay. I think everything's going downhill. Like I think it's probably becoming more and more shitty at the same rate the rest of things in America are becoming shitty. That's probably what's happening. I
Okay,
real quick that you said one thing there that I have had experience with. I order things from Amazon and I like Amazon delivery. And I live kind of out in the boonies right now. And like I love the fact that like with Amazon, I know when it's coming, I get a picture when it was delivered. Like I very much like that. Occasionally, Amazon will choose to ship it through USPS. And my out here, like the mail carrier is not like the mail van that I used to see in Texas. It's
sure.
this person's private little sedan that they drive. That's
Okay.
like their mail. And if it's larger than an 8 by 11 envelope, they ain't bringing it. So if it's something from Amazon in a box, like I will get like an undeliverable notification and I have to drive to the post office and pick it up. And it'll be like the size of a shoebox. Like it's not anything that big, but like they won't even try to deliver anything beyond an 8 by 11 like flat envelope. I don't
Interesting.
know why.
Okay.
So I've just gotten used to it. If I see that it's coming through USPS, I just know, like, okay, the day after it's supposed to be delivered, I got to go to the post office and pick that up. It's
Okay.
irritating. So,
Did you know we got a new Postmaster General?
so DeJoy is not there anymore.
DeJoy is not there anymore. Apparently, he was doing too good a job, I guess.
Okay, who do we have?
We have a guy named David Steiner. He started on July 15th, and let's see. Oh, he was in waste management, which is a huge company, turns out. And then he was on the board. He was a board member of FedEx,
Okay.
and he stepped down from his board his board membership at FedEx and is now running our post office. So, what do you think he's gonna do?
I mean, it's kind of like when we like bring in like an oil executive to like be part of the EPA, or we bring in like a big pharma lobbyist to run parts of HHS. It's like, well,
Yeah,
obviously, anyhow,
they're just gonna pocket money for their buddies, right?
yeah.
Okay.
That's flat out corruption. And like right now, the most recent examples are the people Trump has picked. But like I think if you go back through every left or right, Republican or Democrat presidency, you'll see some of that somewhere. It might not be as prevalent as it is right now, but a lot of times I think that's how the game is played.
Is that they're just trying to get rid of stuff?
I think they're trying to help their rich buddies out.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's what
and
they're doing.
the president's going to appoint somebody who's going to make sure and take care of those people who donated money to his campaign or whatever it is. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I don't think that's a left right thing. Like, I think that's just how politics, that's what sucks about politics.
Yes, it is blatant corruption.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Anyway, I'm out of the post office. I don't know what we're gonna do. I mean, maybe if privatizing it is a good, maybe shit will get done.
uh,
Amazon seems to be delivering their packages.
yeah, I'll say this: Amazon, FedEx, UPS, they all do a lot better than the post office. For the argument that's always made is that like senior citizens in rural counties, like in red MAGA counties, like if the post office went away, it would be terrible for them. That's how they get their medication and all kinds of
Mm.
stuff. And that's the argument that's always made is like, yeah, the people in the city probably could do without it, but the people in rural America need it. I don't really get that, but that's the argument that's made. I definitely couldn't make that argument myself.
Okay. So let's say we do get rid of the post office, and then what? FedEx is going to step up and start delivering mail?
I think Bezos has been giving a lot of money to Trump, and it'll probably be like Amazon suddenly has like they already have Prime, which is a mail delivery service, but I could see Amazon like taking a bigger role in just flat out mail delivery. It's a new source
Hmm.
of income. Like I could see them doing that.
Yeah, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe it'll be better. I don't support Amazon, by the way. I got rid of my Amazon Prime account like, I don't know, 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
I respect you for that. At the
Yeah.
same time, no way I'm getting rid of Amazon. It's so convenient. Like I love it. So anyhow.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people are riveted by our post office talk here, but let's move on from there. Unless you got anything else on the post office.
No, that's it. I was just mad at the post office. Oh, did you know who the first Postmaster General was?
I feel like I should know this. I don't. Who was it?
Benjamin Franklin.
Okay, I'll little bit of knowledge there. Thank you, Docs. I'm gonna quiz somebody about that the next couple days and act like I've
Yeah.
known that all along. So
Yeah.
good work. Um, we're not. I didn't pull. Actually, I did pull one video from it, but I'm probably not going to play it. Trump had a cabinet meeting. I'm not. I don't want to spend hardly any time on this, but in his previous cabinet meetings and in every cabinet meeting in the past, like most presidents, the cameras come in at first and they kind of do a little dog and pony show for the cameras, and then they tell the media to get out, and then they have the actual cabinet meeting. Like that's how I've always seen it done. I've always assumed that with Trump, it was that way. Like you always see the clips of them going around the room, around the table, talking about how great Trump is. But I always assumed that like after the cameras left, they had the meeting. I watched the full cabinet meeting the other day, and like they went around the room, and it took like 3 hours to go all the way around the table and let it. And then when it was done, Trump was just like he stood up and was like, "All right, thank you, everybody. Like good to see you," and like headed out of the room. And it's like, "Well, hold on, wait." That was the meeting? Like were the other ones like that and I just didn't realize it? Or was this all it was they went around and they said what they're working on and they said how great it is to be under President Trump and how great he is. And they just took turns. Like 40 of them, it felt like, took turns. They each had a couple minutes It was
Hmm.
it was long.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw, but again, people
Sleepy
are sp
Don.
people are speculating that he was falling asleep during the meeting.
Oh.
Um, I
Yeah, show the people the video. Is this the video Trump's falling asleep? Yeah.
I do have one here. Wait, well, real quick before you play this, what's funny is imagine if you're like the 20th cabinet secretary to get to talk, and you have been probably practicing your speech to Trump, like saying it in the mirror, saying how great he is, and it's finally your turn. Like it's got around to you. Okay, I'm going to show President Trump how good I am and how much I like him. And as you're talking, he's like, it's got to be
Yeah.
so like that's all I kept thinking of when they would show Trump like hunched over. It was like at one point, and I think it's in this clip. At one point, it's Marco Rubio who's sitting right next to him, and he's like, "Without President Trump, this would have never happened." And Trump's like head down, and he just kind of goes, "Yeah." And it's like that's got to be so deflating for them. That's my only thought. But check this video out real quick.
Pilot programs that we're putting out there. And if these are going to work,
leg up always and make sure that we're paying attention. And we want our workforce to be educated.
Global coalition of countries that line up behind the peace deal, behind the border peace, and it's still every day is a challenge. But it's been driven personally by the president. It's the reason why we're involved in this whole Ukraine-Russia conflict. That's not our war. It's not the president's war. This war started. It never would have happened if you'd been president.
What are your thoughts? Was he sleeping, or I think what I would call that was he was kind of dozing.
He was totally dozing.
I'm making up this stuff. Dozing to me is when you're kind of falling asleep. You're almost asleep. Like you're not there. He wasn't fast asleep. He was.
We've all been here where you're driving like across country and you're like you can barely hang on. You're like I gotta stop the car. I gotta get out. I gotta walk around the gas station. I gotta get some caffeine. That's what he needed to do. He needed to pull that car over and get some caffeine.
What's funny is I think a lot of America can totally relate to that right there. Like we've all been in a setting where we're in a classroom setting or an office meeting and people are talking and it's not interesting to you and your eyes start to get heavy and now you're fighting trying to fall asleep. What's weird is this is people kissing Trump's ass. You would think that like this is what he loves most. So you would think he could stay awake for it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
When
Also,
was that?
That was Monday, I believe. It was either Monday or Tuesday.
Was it Tuesday?
I'm not positive. Monday or Tuesday. Might have been yesterday.
Well, because I have a feeling I know why he was falling asleep.
I was heading there, but go ahead, buddy.
All right, I've got a chart here. All right, yeah. So I found a chart. I found a chart of probably why he was sleeping that day. Because December the 1st, he posted 158 times.
in a 4-hour span or a 5-hour span, right?
This was between, I think, was it 158 times? I think it was between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m.
What I saw, and I don't know what you have in front of you there, but what I saw was 158 posts between 7 p.m. and midnight is what I saw.
Okay. So maybe that was it. So this would be 7 p.m. midnight?
7 p.m. to midnight is what I had seen. It could be incorrect.
I mean, the majority of them were 10 to 12. Like probably like
dude
9:45 to 12.
He was retweeting some wild shit too. He was retweeting, one of them was that Michelle Obama hijacked the auto pen from Biden and like was getting her own stuff done using the auto pen. I don't know where that came from. Venezuela rigged the 2020 election. He was tweeting about that again.
Oh, Venezuela
that was one of the things back in 2020 January 6th time. That was one of the Hugo Chavez and Venezuela have an ownership stake in Dominion voting systems all of it was not true, but they had a whole reason why like Hugo Chavez, who was dead at the time, he was a former leader, why he somehow rigged the election, even though he was dead. That was a whole thing. But yeah, he was up all night tweeting. First of all, he's 79. Like Jake Tapper with CNN is getting a lot of heat today because he did a little deal where he was like, yeah, he clearly was dozing off, but he's 79. Like this is not abnormal for a 79-year-old. And like, yes, that is true. It was also true when it was Biden. Like yes. Biden was 79, 80 years old. And every time somebody would be like, well, look at him. My answer was, yeah, he's 80. 80-year-old men are falling asleep like that.
Did Biden actually fall asleep though?
No, but Biden had a lot more limited of a schedule than Trump, and he was off camera a lot. Like Biden would do a thing in the morning and then a thing in the afternoon, but there was like 4 hours in the midday where you could speculate that he was taking his afternoon nap.
But yeah, but I would rather that than Trump falling asleep on TV in front of the entire world.
Dude, he's the most transparent president ever. He sleeps in front of us. That's how transparent he is. I think I said this on the air recently, but every time I hear somebody say that now about this is the most transparent administration, it's not. It's the most accessible. I think I've already said this, but like Trump is the most accessible president. He's not going to tell you the truth, and a lot of times he's not even going to answer the question you just asked, but he's going to be there and let you ask it. That's what he's good at. He's not transparent, he's accessible. Big difference.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyhow, before we go into the boat strike, we're going to talk about the boat strike for too long tonight, and then I'm going to try to stop talking about the boat strike. Before we get into that, the list of reasons why we were supposed to attack and go to war with Venezuela. It started with fentanyl. They're bringing fentanyl in, and then that kind of fell apart. Everybody noticed that, according to our government's own stats, the fentanyl does not come from Venezuela. It comes from Colombia and Mexico. And then it was the drugs, but then everybody's pointing out now, well, the drugs really go through Trinidad and Tobago, and then I've researched this a little bit. It goes into Africa, where then it goes up through Africa into Europe. Like that's where Venezuela is, and it's cocaine. They do cocaine like a mofo. But they've tried out a couple different things. Rubio has a new thing. This is the reason now why we have to attack Venezuela.
Oh.
The Venezuelan regime is a source of instability in the entire region. Over 8 million Venezuelans have flooded into neighboring countries as a result of the regime's activities within their own country, including into the United States. They also happen to be the foothold of Iran. That's not spoken about enough. Iran, its IRGC, and even Hezbollah has a presence in South America, and one of their anchor presence, especially for the Iranians, is inside of Venezuela.
So Hezbollah...
Man. They've already told us there's the oil. They've already said it's the oil. We want the oil.
What's funny?
Stick with it.
I totally forgot that. What's funny is they tried to say it was the oil for a little bit, and like Maduro flat out offered us the oil. He was like, "You can have the oil if I can say it, you can have it," and we were like, "No." So it's like, is it not about the oil? Like it seems like it's about the oil, except for the fact that they offered us the oil, and we were like, "Nah, like, not good enough."
Is it that we just want to go to war? Is that what it is?
I hate to say it. It seems like it's got to be like I'm going to guess, let's go out on a limb here. Some of Trump's big donors was the military industrial complex. And you don't need a lot of bombs if you're not in a war. So they want to pump out bombs. The government pays, all Raytheon or whatever, these defense contractors. And war is good for the economy. If you're going into a recession, start a war. Like that's the way to create all. Now it drives up the debt like crazy, but it creates new government spending. It pumps money into the economy.
Plus, we have Rubio, who's on record hating Venezuela for forever, right?
He has wanted to get Venezuela for like 10 years. And I saw something the other day. I don't know anything about Florida politics, but like apparently like Trump won the Miami-Dade area big time. And that area normally does not go to Republicans because it's a big Latin American population down there. But like those people want him to do something about Venezuela, like badly. And if he doesn't, it could cost JD or whoever in 2028 because they're going to think promise is broken. So it's almost like Trump has to do it if he wants the next Republican to have a shot of winning Florida. You can't win Florida without Miami-Dade, and you're not going to win Miami-Dade if you don't do something about Venezuela because you promised these people you would. Which that makes a lot of sense. I'm not saying that's right, but to me that makes a lot of sense.
And then you have Pete Hegseth, who he's I feel like he's just a child with a bunch of shiny things that go boom boom, and he's like, I want more boom boom.
Dude, we've talked a couple times about who is the worst cabinet secretary, and like you could make an argument for why we don't like RFK and this and that, but I think there are two clear front runners now for the worst appointments that Trump had, and it's Hegseth and Kash Patel. And the reason I'm saying that, even the Republicans are pretty much done with both of them. Like Hegseth is on thin ice with the MAGA base, and Kash is flat out being made fun of by the MAGA base. Like they don't like him. They want him and Bongino gone.
But is Cash, I feel like Hegseth is like a detriment to our country, while Cash Patel, he's kind of under the radar. Yeah, he's flying around, he's flying his girlfriend around with the jet and doing that stuff, but he's kind of under the radar. He's not really
So
doing anything stupid yet.
and it's like an unofficial group of FBI members, and they are very MAGA. Like they were complaining about Biden the whole time Biden was president. They are now complaining about Kash Patel to Congress. They
Mhm.
wrote up an official report on what they think about Kash Patel, and they did it in the form of like an FBI affidavit and gave it to Congress. And it was basically that none of the FBI, none of the people that have been there a long time and know how it's supposed to go, like Kash Patel, they think he's ruining the agency. So like even like the GOP congressmen and senators right now are starting to waver on Cash and Hegseth. It's like these two, they shouldn't be there. It's a social media influencer in charge of the FBI and a Fox News weekend host in charge of the army. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's the one Republican said this the other day on Fox, but like the biggest issue with Trump's administration or Trump's whole second term right now is he appointed a bunch of influencers to be cabinet heads. Like clearly that's not a good idea. But if you look
Yeah.
at who he has, like he wanted people who were good on TV. Like that's the
Mhm.
whole he wants content, he wants social media posts, he wants people to go on CNN or left-wing stuff and argue and fight with them. Like that's what he wants more than anything else. And he
Well,
picked
that and they have to be like sycophants. They have to
yeah,
love Donald Trump. They have to say nothing wrong with Donald Trump ever.
yep. But he wanted fighters, somebody who's going to fight for him. And that's who he appointed. And it's not going to work out well. It's not working out well now, and it's not going to. But anyhow,
Well, he hired this administration like because they were loyalists to him,
yeah,
and he like I think he really thought he was gonna get to keep them throughout his whole term.
that's what
But
this is a story for a different show for us to talk about. But like, remember the first time when at first he was acting like he wasn't going to leave after he lost in 2020, and the people around him were like, "Sir, you can't do that, sir." You know, and they finally were like, "Sir, you lost. Like, you need to go." Like, he's not if he thinks he's going to stay, which who knows what he's going to do in 2028. But if he decides to stay, there's nobody around him in an official position that's going to be the voice of reason and tell him, sir, it's over. You got to give up now.
yeah,
Like
oh,
you need
for
to
sure.
leave. Yeah, he got rid of all those people. So
Huh. Well,
speaking,
remember in his first term, he got rid of people. He was like firing people every other week.
there was the chief of staffs. He went through a lot of them, and the secretary of states and the attorney generals. He had a lot of turnover at a couple positions there. So
Hmm. So I looked up what this is going to cost because we were talking about the military war complex and the money that it creates for our economy. The MQ-9 Reaper drones cost $3,500 per flight.
that's
Per
it.
flight
Oh,
hour.
per
Per
flight.
flight
Okay.
hour. Per
Okay.
flight hour.
I thought you meant to build one. I was like, that's amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
The AMG 114 Hellfire missiles, munition used in many of these strikes, are $100 to $150,000 per unit.
Cool.
How many ships have we bombed? And how many missiles have we used? That's a lot.
You know what's funny is apparently it's only like 20 or 21 ships. I thought it was more than that, but it's only like 20 or 21 right now.
Okay. Have we used any fighter jets for these yet?
And apparently no, and we thought that the missiles were being launched from the Reaper drones, but no, we don't know about the other ones. This boat strike that we're going to talk about here in a minute apparently was a missile launched from nearby Trinidad and Tobago. So
Hmm.
it was launched from the land to the boat. It's not from a drone. We do have drones flying around overhead watching it. We know that now. But that specific strike was not from a drone. It was from land.
So I'm just guessing because they're saying that this is the stuff that has been reportedly used for these ship strikes, boat
Mm,
strikes. Fighter jets, $400,000 per flight hour. And then the AC-130J gunships, um, the cost per flight hour is not public, but it is the predecessor cost over $40,000 per flight hour.
Believe it. Yeah.
What's an ACJ gunship?
Dude, so the C-130 is the most awesome ship ever. It's a four-prop plane. It's a big old tank of a plane, and it's the
Mm.
one it's got like a 20 millimeter cannon coming out like the front of it on one side, and then on that same side further back, it has like a for real cannon, and
Oh,
it circles a target and just bombards them with rapid fire. It's an awesome plane.
It's what Tom Cruise had in the in that movie we were talking about.
In one of the Mission Impossibles.
No, the American Made.
I don't think he never had a C-130 in that.
He had some big
Yeah, it
airplane.
wasn't a C-130. C-130 is an awesome, it's like a tank of a plane. Like it literally has cannons. Like it's awesome.
They
Anyhow,
call it the Ghost Rider. That's cool.
yeah, no, good plane. Real quick, you mentioned MAGA sycophants earlier. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this person, but like Megyn Kelly has gone through a transformation. Like where, if you remember in 2016, she asked Trump about the way he speaks about women at a debate, and I don't remember the whole blood coming from her eyes or blood coming from
And
her
somewhere else.
wherever, and all that. And like she was on the outs with him for most of his first term, and she tried to go to NBC. Things didn't go well there, and she left. And like now she realizes her play is to the right. Like she's going to be a MAGA person, and she has gotten. I don't know if this is the real her, and what we saw for many years was her trying to be more centered, or if she really is a centered person, and she's now pretending to be MAGA. I don't know which one it is. Uh,
I think she's too smart to say the stuff that she's saying about, especially the stuff that she said about Epstein that we covered a
yeah.
couple episodes ago. I don't think she's that dumb.
Well, it's not even a matter. This clip isn't a matter of dumb. It's a matter of like cruelty. I don't know how to say it, but watch. This is just from I want to say the last 2 days. Watch this clip of her talking about the Venezuelan boat strikes.
So I really do kind of not only want to see them killed in the water, whether they're on the boat or in the water, but I'd really like to see them suffer. I would like Trump and Hegseth to make it last a long time so that they lose a limb and bleed out a little. Like I'm really having a difficult time ginning up sympathy for these guys who 10 seconds earlier almost got taken out by the initial bomb, but because they managed to get ejected, a little too soon, had to be taken out in the water. I realize legally it may make a difference, but truly, Mark, this is a tough case to really gin up the sympathies of the American people.
Yeah. There's a word for that, but we're gonna get demonetized if we.
Yeah, we're not monetized. So
Yeah.
we're not worried about that. But no, like I want to see them lose a limb and bleed out and suffer. Like, okay, first of all, my whole deal with that is like we don't even know that these are like drug dealers. We have no clue who these people are. And the new stats that came out is that like I think it's like 21 or 22% of boats that the Coast Guard stops that they think have drugs turn out to not have drugs. So you're gonna say 1 out of 5 possibly are not drug boats. That's just sick. I saw that clip and I've not liked Megyn Kelly for a while, but when I saw that, I was just like, I almost wanted to write her an email and be like, "What the fuck is your problem?" Like that was,
Yeah.
I didn't know what else to say.
And that's the problem is she said it. I have no sympathy.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any sympathy for anybody. And let's just say, okay, we're bombing these boats. They're not shipping drugs here.
They're shipping them to Europe, probably.
They're
To
shipping
Africa,
them
then
to
Europe.
but we're still just bombing these boats for Pete Hegseth's pleasure.
So
Is my thought.
I got to clip in a little bit, but we're bombing them in self-defense. Just so you know, you'll hear why. But that's our official new position is we're bombing them in self-defense. What's weird is MAGA used to like for the past couple of years, like MAGA hates Dick Cheney. Like Dick Cheney, who got us into these forever wars in the Middle East, and like they'll go, but at the same time, like you look at this, like slowly MAGA is starting to accept the whole Venezuela narrative, and like, yeah, we got to go to war with them, and it's like, this is a Dick Cheney move, like this is a standard Republican Dick Cheney move, and MAGA at first, in their respect, they were resistant to this, like, oh no, we don't want new wars. What are we doing? But slowly, it's working, and they are now more and more on board, and it's really getting sad to watch. So, anyhow, marching towards war.
So yeah, he also remember when Zelensky was in the office and they were talking about, oh, you can't have elections during war. I think that's kind of a good idea.
Yeah. So the whole point of that, just so you know, is that Zelensky's country is occupied. Like 20% of it is occupied by Russia. So how do you have an election when 20% of your country is occupied? That's the reason that they are stating. Like if we're in a war with Venezuela and no part of our country is occupied, and Trump's like, "Yep, we're at war. No elections, I guess." Like, no, that's not okay. Whatever, buddy. So getting onto the boat strike, I'm going to try to get through this quick. I apologize in advance for the many videos I have. But to be fair to Pete Hegseth, like he told us how he feels about these politically incorrect rules of engagement and whatnot. Like he's not a fan of them. He wrote a book where he was talking about untying our warfighters' hands. Remember when he had that big meeting at Quantico where he called all like sergeants, commanders, flag officers, he called them all back to Virginia to listen to him, and then Trump. It was supposed to be just him at first. Then Trump ended up speaking. I pulled a clip from that I'm just going to make you watch real quick because, like I said, he told us his views on this.
We fight to win. We unleash overwhelming and punishing violence on the enemy. We also don't fight with stupid rules of engagement. We untie the hands of our warfighters to intimidate, demoralize, hunt, and kill the enemies of our country. No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Just common sense, maximum lethality, and authority for warfighters.
No more politically correct and overbearing rules of engagement. Okay, so again, he was pretty upfront on this. So that's the one thing we got to say is, he pretty much signaled that this is how we were going to fight.
When was the Geneva Convention created?
I think that was
after World War II.
It might have been after World War I, honestly, because World War I, they started busting out all kinds of new stuff that we didn't have in the past, like chemical warfare.
And so they had to put up some kind of rules of engagement to keep us from.
Yeah. No, actually, the Geneva Convention was 1864.
Whoa.
Yeah, Convention for I can't say that word, of the condition of wounded armies in the field.
Oh, so that's what we're going to get to here in a minute.
So they, real quick, they did update it in 1949, so it would have been after World War II, and added a bunch, expanded protection to prisoners of war and civilians. So that's the last time. Good.
That's the last time they updated it?
Yep, it was 1949.
Right after World War II, huh?
Yeah. And there's some unwritten things like lasers. I was listening to somebody talk about this, but every military now has some kind of laser that they can flash at once and like permanently blind everybody on the other side. And then once you got a bunch of blind guys walking around, it's fish in a barrel, Totally. And like all the countries have gotten together and agreed, like, we're not going to do that. That's so, even though the Geneva Convention hasn't been updated, like there's certain common understandings we've all had that now we're not going to do that. Like that's over the line. So the lasers is the best example of it.
Remember those soldiers, or I think it was soldiers or CIA agents or something? They were in Cuba.
Talk about the hearing, the sonic,
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, that's a new one, and like that gave people, I guess, like permanent brain injuries from some kind of, I guess, a sound wave. I don't know what. Yeah, something high pitch frequency. Like that's a weird one.
That's a weird one. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, so where we left off last time we were talking about this, we found out there was a double tap on the boat. There were 2 survivors clinging to the wreckage, and we hit them with a second missile. Turns out we actually ended up hitting that boat with 4 missiles in total. Okay. They said that the boat debris would have been a hazard to maritime shipping lanes, so they wanted to like totally demolish every part of it. Little weird. How much did you say those missiles cost? That's 4 missiles.
So that's $600,000 in missiles.
Okay, so that's the money we're putting into missiles right there. Anyhow, they tried late last week. I think they kind of thought they could just ignore this and it would go away. Like that seemed to be what Hegseth and the administration, and Hegseth even at one point posted there's some, I guess, kid's character named like Franklin the Turtle or something, and Hegseth posted a picture of the turtle like, oh.
Zoom in on it. There we go.
Yeah,
Franklin targets narco-terrorists.
So Hegseth posted this on like Sunday, I want to say. So they were kind of making a joke out of it. Like they really didn't think this would be a deal. And then late Sunday, certain GOP congressmen and senators started going on the record about this, and it was clear like they weren't cool with this. Like they were saying they were going to haul somebody in to testify, and this is the Republicans were saying this. So they started to realize like, oh shit, like this is going to possibly be a problem. Like whereas at first I really think they thought they could just not address it, fight back, it'd be fine. Also, Andrew McCarthy, who's like the Fox legal analyst, he was on all weekend long, and he was like, this is a war crime. Like, this is straight up a war crime. Somebody's going to get in trouble for this. So he was kind of warning the Fox viewers. And then even on Newsmax, they have Judge Napolitano, who used to be on Fox. And I thought this was interesting because Newsmax doesn't hear the other side of things very often. Here's Judge Andrew Napolitano on Newsmax.
It gives me no pleasure to say what I'm about to say because I worked with Pete Hegseth for 7 or 8 years at Fox News. This is an act of a war crime, ordering survivors who the law requires be rescued instead to be murdered. There's absolutely no legal basis for it. Everybody along the line who did it, from the Secretary of Defense to the Admiral to the people who actually pulled the trigger, should be prosecuted for a war crime for killing these 2 people.
And who would?
So a little dose of reality there for the news. So Newsmax and Fox News viewers are seeing all weekend that, oh shit, like this could be a big deal. So they had to change their strategy. At first it was Pete Hegseth came out and said this was totally fabricated, not true, is what he tweeted at first. Trump flying back from Mar-a-Lago on Sunday night, you could tell that his advisors, like people around him, had gotten to him and were like, sir, somebody's going to go down for this, and don't let it be you. So you don't know nothing. Like that was the kind of the gist. Here is Trump on his plane on Air Force One coming back from Mar-a-Lago.
On the Venezuela boat strike, if there were a second strike that killed people, even in the first strike, are you thinking that would be legal?
I don't know that happened. And Pete said he did not want them. He didn't even know what people were talking about. So we'll look into it. But no, I wouldn't have wanted that. Not a second strike. The first strike was very lethal. It was fine. And if there were 2 people around, but Pete said that didn't happen.
Does that make you?
I have great confidence.
You saying there's no second strike?
I don't know. I'm going to find out about it. But Pete said he did not order the death of those 2 men.
Do you have any?
I don't think the first strike was legal.
So he said twice there that Pete said it didn't happen, meaning there was no second strike. Okay.
Right.
This was the last time anybody in the Trump administration would try to claim there was no second strike, but that was said. Pete said it didn't happen. He first started by saying, I don't know anything about it, but Pete said it didn't happen. I have great confidence in Pete. I'm torn here because the first article on the Washington Post made it basically sound like Pete gave the order, kill everyone. So they said specifically he said kill everyone, but then they never flat out said it, but they alluded to Pete ordered that specifically the survivors be killed. That's what they kind of alluded to. They never said it directly. The New York Times comes out with an article Sunday night going into Monday morning, and they say, yeah, there was a second strike. The 2 were clinging to parts of the raft. But Pete did not order the second strike. It was this General Bradley, who's the head of Special Forces.
This was the New York Times?
This was in the New York Times, okay? And a lot of people on the left were like, this is a plant. Like Trump or one of Trump's people fed them this to get Pete off the hook. This is now Operation Throw General Bradley under the bus. Like Pete didn't say that. This guy did it all on his own. The story came out. I don't think Pete ever said it, but that morning the story came out that like Pete was totally unaware of this. Like Pete was off doing other things and he didn't see any of this. That was what they started trying to do.
Yeah.
And then everybody pulled up, and I didn't pull it, but everybody pulls up the clip of like 2 days after this strike, and Pete Hegseth is on Fox saying like, I watched it live and I gave the order and this and that, and so totally blew that out of the water.
What do you think happened?
Oh, I think they definitely hit him again. I don't, here's the thing. I don't know what happened, but it sounds like we are going to get to see the tape, or potentially could see the tape. So I'm going to hold off. There's all kinds of new stuff coming to light right now. So I'm going to walk you through a couple more videos just to show you where we are now, and then we can make our prediction of what we think happened.
Okay.
Carolyn Levitt goes to the podium. So Sunday night, Trump's on the plane, says Pete said it didn't happen at all. Later that night, the New York Times runs a story corroborating that it did happen, but Pete did not give the order. Carolyn Levitt in the press room on Monday afternoon. This is a quick little mashup of two clips where she got asked about it, but check this out real quick.
Clear. Does the administration deny that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Gabe. Following up on Gabe's question,
You said that the follow-up strike was lawful. What law is it that allows no survivors?
The strike conducted on September 2nd was conducted in self-defense to protect Americans in vital United States interests. The strike was conducted in international waters and in accordance with the law of armed conflict.
Now, can she go to jail for like covering up stuff like that?
I mean, she's just reading what they tell her to read, but that was a very lawyered up statement. You could see when they asked her that question, she looked down and read it directly because that was what the White House counsel had said. Hey, say this and you won't get in trouble. That I guarantee you.
She looks very uncomfortable up there. She's
caught in a lie. The administration's caught in a lie. I don't know if she. Actually, I got to look. I don't know what she said on record last week. I don't know if she ever came out and denied that there was a second strike. Though many people at the White House did deny there was a second strike. Now they're just, as of Monday now, yes, there was a second strike. We did it in self-defense, and we did it in accordance with the law. I'd like to see some lawyers.
This is insane. The amount of like flip-flopping and moving narratives is insane with this administration. I mean, we just talked about how our motives of going to war with Venezuela has switched like 6 times already, and now the boat strike that somebody's going to get thrown on the bus for is like flip-flopping back and forth.
Well, that first reporter in that little clip, he said, is the administration saying there was not a second strike, or are they saying there was a second strike but Pete Hegseth didn't order it? And she said the latter is true, so the second one is true. So that was it, 2-3 in the afternoon on Monday. At 5:57 that night, Pete Hegseth tweets from his personal account, let's make one thing crystal clear. Admiral Mitch Bradley is an American hero, a true professional, and has my 100% support. I stand by him and the combat decisions he has made on his September 2nd mission and all others since. Very key phrasing there. I stand by him and the combat decisions he, and he alone, has made. Not me. He made those. He says, America is fortunate to have such men protecting us. When this Department of War says we have the back of our warriors, we mean it. So that right there is just flat out, we're throwing Mitch Bradley under the bus. He made this decision. I stand behind the decision that he made. Let's make it real clear who made this decision. So that's where we ended on Monday. So Tuesday, after Trump stayed up all night retweeting shit. So Tuesday we have the cabinet meeting. Hegseth is the first to get to speak. Okay. I got two clips. It's one long clip that I split into 2 here, but this is when I almost had to mute the TV for a while. Cause I was like, God damn, sometimes you want to reach through and strangle people. So here's Pete after tweeting the night before that this was Bradley's decision. And then also remember the tape had come up where he said that he saw it. He was watching it live. So if he was let's evaluate. If he was watching it live and they see survivors and Admiral Bradley says, there's survivors, second strike, let's hit him again. But Hegseth is standing right there. If he doesn't stop that, he's just as guilty, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that would make sense. He's the commanding officer. One of his subordinates just said, kill those 2 survivors, and he's not going to say anything. So doesn't make sense. We're a little unclear on this.
How long has Bradley been in his position?
No, he just got promoted to this. So when the guy, resigned, Halsey, he resigned as the commander of Southcom over the summer. He resigned the day after this strike is what people are now piecing it together. This double tap happened and he resigned the next day. Also makes me think that he might have something to do with how the media found out about this.
Interesting.
So I believe this Bradley guy is now promoted into his position. I think he's the commander of special forces. I could be wrong on that.
Bradley doesn't know what he's doing, and doesn't know what he's doing. And they're orchestrating strikes on vessels in the Caribbean.
So I'll say this: it seems like Bradley is a well-respected commander. Like he has been the commander of our special forces for a while. Like he doesn't.
So he knows
he should know what's right and wrong. Yeah. So, but I've not heard anybody saying Bradley shouldn't be there or he's only there because he's a Trump kiss ass. Haven't heard that at all. So I don't think that's the case. Anyhow, here's Pete answering the question of, hey, I thought you said you were watching it live, but it was Bradley's decision. Here's Pete's answer.
Now, the first couple of strikes,
as you would, as any leader would want, you want to own that responsibility. So I said, I'm going to be the one to make the call after getting all the information and make sure it's the right strike. That was September 2nd. There's a lot of intelligence that goes into that, building that case and understanding that, a lot of people providing information. I watched that first strike live. As you can imagine, at the Department of War, we got a lot of things to do. So I didn't stick around for the hour and 2 hours, whatever, where all the sensitive site exploitation digitally occurs. So I moved on to my next meeting. A couple of hours later, I learned that that commander had made which he had the complete authority to do, and by the way, Admiral Bradley made the correct decision to ultimately sink the boat and eliminate the threat. He sunk the boat, and eliminated the threat. And it was the right call. We have his back, and the American people are safer because narco-terrorists know you can't bring drugs through the water and eventually on land if necessary to the American people. We will eliminate that threat, and we're proud to do it.
Trump's falling asleep again.
That was the first speaker too. Like Trump had just got done and he's going clockwise around the room and there's Hegseth and Trump's already kind of dozing. But so he said we hit the boat and he had other meetings, so he had to go. And then later that day he found out that Bradley made this decision all on his own with no input from Hegseth. Now, I'm going to back up there, and I don't know how the chain of command works. But if they do the strike and Hegseth says, okay, I got to split to the next meeting. And then all of a sudden, however long after that, they see, oh shit, there's 2 people alive clinging to the boat. Like, I'm inclined to believe that somebody would have contacted Hegseth and said, hey, we got 2 survivors. What do we do here? I don't know. No. I don't know how it works. Do you think that Bradley would have seen that and said, go ahead and launch another strike? Later, we'll tell Hegseth about this.
Well, in like the fire department, you would hand over the chain of command, the incident leader.
But if there's a big decision,
hand over to the next guy, which would probably be him.
But if there's a big decision to be made, you wouldn't reach out to somebody just as a cover your ass.
Now it's their decision to make.
Okay. You might.
I mean, if let's just say you're in war. Let's just say World War II. You're not going to call the president every time you need to make a big decision, right?
I get that, but like this wasn't pressing. Like if this was war and the 2 guys that were alive were about to start firing back at Americans, like okay, yeah, you got to make a split-second decision. But there was no time deal on this. Like
it's the same. It's the same no matter what.
Okay.
Whoever's in command stays in command until they pass it along.
You could be right. You very well could be. It's just to me, I don't know why I feel like in that situation, like, there are survivors. The normal rules that we've all gone by our whole life would be don't kill them, but I'm going to make the decision to kill them and not run it by anybody else.
I don't think Bradley did that.
If that happened, then Bradley's going in front of Congress tomorrow, so we're going to release this tomorrow.
He is? Yes. Yeah. Okay, good.
So I think this is going to be behind closed doors, though. I don't think this is going to be televised. I think, but anyhow,
you think? Well, we're gonna. Yeah, I think he's gonna own up to it, and he's just gonna take the bullet, and then he's gonna get rewarded.
I think he's gonna take the bullet, and he's gonna get in trouble, and then he's gonna get pardoned by Trump. Like that's how this is gonna go.
Oh yeah.
So anyhow, real quick, Pete continued that, and this is the part where I wanted to strangle him real quick. This is. I'm not even gonna try to set this up. Here's a little bit more Pete Hegseth.
We're proud to do it.
So you didn't see any survivors, to be clear, after that first strike? You personally?
I did not personally see survivors, but I stand, because the thing was on fire. It was exploded and fire is smoke. You can't see anything. You got digital. This is called the fog of war. This is what you in the press don't understand. You sit in your air-conditioned offices or up on Capitol Hill and you nitpick and you plant fake stories in the Washington Post about kill everybody, phrases on anonymous sources not based in anything. Not based in any truth at all. And then you want to throw out really irresponsible terms about American heroes, about the judgment that they made. I wrote a whole book on this topic because of what politicians and the press does to warfighters. President
I like how he plugged his book.
So 2 things there. He plugged his book for sure. Real quick, he said this was the fog of war. This is what you media don't understand, sitting in your air-conditioned offices. Okay. Everybody that was in control of that was inside an air-conditioned building in a room with a bunch of monitors in front of them. This is not they were in the foxhole getting shot at and now we're second-guessing them, okay? So the whole, like, you sit in your air-conditioned... No, whatever building this all happened in was air-conditioned and quite comfortable, I'm sure. That's the first part. The second part, I knew they were going to do this, but he turns it into basically saying you're attacking these hardworking American soldiers that are fighting, and he's turning it into it's an attack on the soldiers. It's not an attack on the soldiers. It's hey, somebody made a decision to kill the survivors that were shipwrecked. Like that's exactly in the manual. It gives examples of what's not allowed, and one of the examples is if you have survivors of a boat that are now shipwrecked. Not only can you not kill them, you have to help rescue them. Like you can't let them drown. That's in our Department of War manual. This is
okay.
This is our Department of Defense, Department of War, whatever you want. They have a manual, and it lists certain examples of what is allowed, what's not allowed. That's one of the things not allowed. So by the rules of war that we have made for ourselves, not only could we not kill them, but we had to pick them up.
So. Yeah, I mean, he messed up. Pete Hegseth messed up, and he's doing everything he can to get himself out of going to jail, I guess. I mean, he's going to get pardoned. Trump's going to pardon him no matter what.
I got one more clip on this. So before you say anything else, this is the newest breaking little thing we've learned. So their story has evolved real quick. It went from this didn't happen at all to it happened, but Pete didn't know about it to it's all General Bradley's fault. Now this is so Martha Raddatz at ABC. Martha Raddatz is a good reporter, or she's a good journalist, and she's had a couple interviews with Trump where she's been very hard on him, and he's been very mad at her for it. So she's not like a journalist that's in the pocket of Trump. However, it seems like someone from the Trump administration fed her this newest version of events, and she took it hook, line, and sinker. This is what I'm reading out of the situation. Maybe this is true, but let's hear what the new story of what happened is.
And tonight, new information. According to a source familiar with the incident, the two survivors climbed back onto the boat after the initial strike. They were believed to be potentially in communication with others and salvaging some of the drugs. Because of that, it was determined they were still in the fight and valid targets. A JAG officer was also giving legal advice. So again, David, that video will be key, and Admiral Bradley will be on the Hill tomorrow behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors.
So that's all new. Hold on, wait. If they climbed back into the boat and we believed they were in radio communication with another boat or more people somewhere, and they were trying to grab the drugs and get them back into the boat, that's very different. Like I'm going to say, at that point, I still don't think we should be hitting them with missiles in the first place. But what the original account was they were two wounded survivors clinging to the shipwreck. Is what we were told. Okay, that was the first thing. And now they climbed back into the boat. They were on the radio potentially, and they were trying to scoop the bags of drugs back into the boat. I'm just saying that's a totally different ballgame here. Okay, I think all the strikes in general are probably illegal, but I'm just saying that's two different things we're talking about here. Also, there was
why wasn't that the first story they came up with?
Well, but here's the thing. Okay, so. She also said there that there was a JAG lawyer involved in the decision making, giving legal consultation. That's a whole different. But if that was the story, why didn't we hear that Friday last week? Like, if the Washington Post puts this out Wednesday or Thursday, I think it was Thursday, and then on Friday the White House is scrambling, and it takes them till what is today? Wednesday. It takes them till Wednesday to say, "Oh no, actually, here's what happened," and a lawyer was involved, and. Had they come out on Friday and said all this, okay, I'd probably buy it. The fact that it took them until now to come up with this, so Trump, one of the things he said on the airplane coming back is that, or actually, sorry, this was yesterday or today. He said in the Oval Office, he was like, I think they should release the tape. Yeah, like if we have the tape, release it. Okay, if they release the tape and it's not clearly edited and stuff got out, and it turns out that these two guys climbed back into the boat that was still floating. And we're on the radio and trying to get, then I'm just saying that's a different ballgame. Then I think it's just as illegal as all the other strikes. Right now, I think the double tap is way more of a big deal than the other strikes. I think the other strikes are bad. The double tap is way worse. If the new version of events is true, then I put them all on the same level as, they're all bad.
I'm going to guess that the first story is probably the correct story. And now they've got a JAG on their side, and they've got Bradley who doesn't want to go to jail. So they're just going to lie under oath.
And I wonder if Bradley says, hey, I had a Department of, Department of Defense, Department of War lawyer standing
Yep.
there with me that told me that this was justified and I could do it. I think he's off the hook. If a lawyer told, I don't know for sure, but if he says,
But-
yeah, I checked with one of the lawyers and they said to do it, I think that absolves him. I'm not sure. I don't know how it works, but I feel like that.
Well,
might
then
be
I
it.
think they have to bring the lawyer in and question him about it too.
Yep. And if I just don't,
Is a lawyer going to lie under oath? That's the question.
oh,
Jack.
I think a lawyer would definitely lie under oath. Any lawyer.
I don't know. I feel like lawyers, for everything, for all the crooked bullshit that lawyers are, I think they follow the law. I think the vast majority of them actually are like when they're not going to lie under oath.
Okay, most of the lawyers I know are ones from movies that are crooked lawyers, so you're probably right. I don't know any lawyers in real life. I know that the ones in movies that do terrible shit and tell people to lie
Yeah.
under oath. So, yeah, okay, well, yeah. So that's where we land right now. Is my question to you: are we ever going to see the tape?
Oh, probably 50-50.
I think we're going to see a small little clip where it's like, look right here. This is what I don't. We're not going to see the whole tape. We're going to see something that has a lot of questions unanswered. It'll be
This
just
administration is so blatantly crooked and so blatantly corrupt, and on every issue, it's so bad. I'm so upset with what's going on right now.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyhow,
So stupid.
I'm going to say I don't think we're ever going to see the tape, but I think that they're going to get off scot-free on this because the news story that just came out tonight is what they're all going to stick with, and I think that'll be just enough for the Republicans in the Senate and the Congress to go, oh, well, okay, yep, turns out their story's fine, moving on. It's just going to, because they need just enough cover to be able to do that. If they don't get something like that, they kind of have to keep investigating this. So it'll be interesting. I want to know what happens. I wish Admiral Bradley was testifying in public tomorrow. I'm mad that's behind closed doors.
Yeah.
But I think after tomorrow, the GOP senators and congressmen are going to come out and say, yeah, I heard enough to where I'm satisfied. And that'll be the end of it. I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to get away with it no matter what. Because even if it comes out that it was Pete Hegseth that did it and then he goes to jail, like Trump's just going to pardon him.
Oh yeah, nobody's going to actually go to jail for this.
On that note, are you done with Venezuela? The boats?
The one other thing I want to say about Hegseth real quick. The report on Signalgate came out. The Department of Justice IG did a report on that's taken these last couple of months to do. Remember when Hegseth was tweeting war plans with JD and all the people in the White House? So the official report came out on that today, and it said that Hegseth did risk injury to American servicemen, blah, 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 if these communications had been intercepted. So it was not a good report for him. It didn't recommend that he get fired or anything, but it made it look like he fucked up bad. Hegseth came out right afterward and was like, total exoneration. And it's like, what? And what irritated me is that I know MAGA is not going to read it. They're never going to read it. And if they hear him say that, and if Newsmax or Fox News echoes it, then they're just going to go, oh, yeah, the report came out. It totally exonerated him. And it's like, no, it was a bad report for him. But anyhow, I'm not going to waste any time on that. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done with Venezuela now. What do you got?
Okay, so on the fact that on the note that Pete Hegseth would go to jail and he would just get exonerated, or I learned a couple new terms today.
Okay.
Clemency and commutation.
Okay, I know what a pardon and a commutation. I know what the difference is there. If you grant somebody clemency, I've heard that, but I don't know what the difference is with that.
So clemency is the umbrella tax term, or the umbrella term for executive mercy, while commutation reduces a criminal sentence and a pardon forgives the crime, though a pardon doesn't erase the conviction itself.
Okay.
So I'm not sure exactly, like, they're forgiving crimes. We're forgiving your crime.
There's a guy that Trump
Are they God?
There's a guy that Trump just commuted his sentence, and he was running like a Ponzi scheme or something, and he defrauded investors out of like $1.6 billion or something ridiculous. He was found guilty, and not only did he have a prison sentence, but he was going to have to pay back like a shitload of money, and Trump commuted his sentence. So he's still guilty of the crime. On his record, he's guilty of the crime, but he's done serving jail time, and he also said that any restitution that he would have had to pay, he no longer has to pay. So all the people that guy swindled that would have gotten some of their money back are now not going to get it back. Like, that's one of those things where Trump does, and I'm like, what? Like, those are Americans. Like that. It's weird.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
makes
no,
sense.
100%. And I've got a list.
Okay.
So so Biden, this is crazy. Biden is the number one, um, I guess we'll just say clemency president ever.
Because he did it with all the non-violent drug offenders. At the end, he did clemency on like a blanket, like a shitload of them. But it was people that were like in jail for weed and like doing multiple years for weed with no violence. So that was the kind of
Yeah,
people.
it was over 4,000,
Yeah.
which he did. Guess how many Trump has done so far in 2025?
Well, I'm gonna say 1,800 to 2,000.
It's 1,600.
Okay.
1,600 so
Well, because
far.
it was 1,500 January 6ers, so that was on the first day. He was already at 1,500, and then I was gonna say I feel like there's been a couple hundred more since then.
It's been a lot, and the numbers are a little off because I kept finding like 1,200 for January 6th, and then but it really seems like it's 1,500.
That's the number I've always heard.
1,500 for January 6th. And there's at least 10 of them back in jail.
Okay. Yep, I've seen that. Variety of charges, including like child predator type stuff.
Yeah, and and a lot of them were actually on previous charges. So that was the guy Andrew Take. He assaulted Capitol police officers with pepper spray and a metal whip. He had 6 years in prison. Trump pardoned him, and he was rearrested on previous charges of soliciting a minor.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like let these guys out. Edward Kelly. Let's see, what did he do? Convicted on plotting to murder the FBI agents who investigated him on January 6th.
Okay, that sounds right. He got out of
Right.
jail and he was like, "I'm going to go after the people that put me in
I'm gonna
jail."
get them.
Yeah.
This girl was sentenced for 10 years for causing a drunk driving accident in 2022 that killed one person and injured another. I mean, and the list just keeps going on with these people.
Well,
Like they're all felons. They've got gun charges. They've got drinking under influence. 19 years for sexually assaulting a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah.
To me, all the January Sixers, that's so not even a big deal compared to like the rich people that are getting pardoned right now. The president of Honduras that he just pardoned is ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
dude, that guy got convicted of like leading a drug smuggling operation into America. There were quotes where he said he's going to stuff the cocaine right up the noses of the gringos and stuff like that. And hold on, get this. He started getting investigated under Obama, and then it was under Trump that he like really like where they brought charges and all that. The prosecutor that convicted him was Emile Beauvais. You might know that name because Emile Beauvais was Donald Trump's. He ended up leaving the Department of Justice during Biden and became Donald Trump's defense lawyer and represented Trump in the documents case and all that. And then he was at the Department of Justice for the first couple months of this term, and then Trump nominated him to be a federal judge, and he is now a federal judge. Trump's former defense lawyer, who also prosecuted the president of Honduras, which now Trump says that was a witch hunt, but that was Emile Beauvais who did it. And it happened under Trump's first term. So
yeah.
just on that.
But were we going after Venezuela for stuffing the cocaine up our noses?
Because and we say that Maduro has to go because he's technically the leader of this cartel. When the Honduras guy literally got convicted of that, but we're gonna let him go. Exact same thing that we're accusing Maduro of.
Just none of this makes any sense, man. These guys I mean, how much money do you think he gave Trump? Because this is what I'm thinking is Trump is just getting money. Like they're like, here, we'll give you a couple $1 million to.
So here's the thing: that guy, and I'm not prepared at all to talk about this, but that guy in Honduras is really in good with the crypto guys, like all the crypto billionaires. He was gonna give them a part of Honduras that was gonna be like their zone where they can do their own rule, like what they've talked about doing in Greenland, where it's like their own country. And he gave them a part of Honduras, and like crypto is the only form of currency there, and they're not under the rules of Honduras at all. There's all kinds of links with him and the crypto guys. So then when you look at all the people around Trump, like his donors and the tech guys, it's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like they liked him, he was doing good things for them, they lobbied to get him out. Like that's easy. So
Um, yeah.
he
He
also,
also
real
go
quick,
ahead.
Trump pardoned a guy like today or yesterday that was charged and convicted in the last couple months, like under Trump's DOJ, and Trump just pardoned him and said it was a witch hunt. And I was like, it was your DOJ that, anyhow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Let's see. He also, let's see, he pardoned Daryl Strawberry for tax evasion, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, and 77 total people for the
The
accused of
January
trying to
6th
overturn
stuff.
the results of the 2020 election. I think we
Yep,
talked about that.
we did. Yeah.
Uh, George Santos.
Hold on, back up. I'm okay with the Daryl Strawberry one. I don't know why. Daryl Strawberry was a great athlete. That one, I think any normal president could have possibly pardoned Daryl Strawberry, and everybody would have been like, whatever. Like that. That's not. But the George Santos one, like, that's a weird one.
Wire
Anyhow,
fraud and identity theft, and he doesn't have to pay his
restitution.
yeah, he doesn't pay his restitution. But what Trump said about George Santos when asked, he said, the courage, conviction, and intelligence to always vote for Republican.
Yep.
That's why. So if you're a voter for Republican, you get commuted.
So, well, apparently, and I gotta say, he's pardoned two Democratic lawmakers since he's been in office this time, and one of them was just I think today, and it's
Mhm.
a Republican house or sorry, a Democrat House member from like the Rio Grande Valley area of Texas, and that guy is very moderate. Like he says that he's a conservative Democrat, and he does vote like he's actually the kind of politician I like. If the legislation is good, he'll vote for it. Doesn't matter what side it's on. But Trump pardoned him
His
today,
name's
which
Henry Sular.
how do you spell that?
Gular.
Is it with a C? Yeah.
Cuellar. He was charged with accepting $600,000 in bribes from foreign entities.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like somebody who should be in jail for a while.
It's weird because like the Republicans used to do the whole, and Trump would always say like we're the party of law and order, and like I'm kind of waiting for him or any Republican to say that because when they do, I'm going to jump all over it with the pardons. I'm just going to be like, oh really? Like law and order? Okay, let's talk about this. But none of them are saying it right now. Like nobody's saying law and order. When's the last time you heard Trump say that?
I've been going back and forth. So somebody commented on one of our shorts that I posted.
Okay.
And I've been going back and forth with this guy, and this is what brought this up.
Okay.
Going back and forth on Law and Order because he was saying that the Dems are so loose with the laws and regulations. I was like, Trump's pardoning everybody who's doing illegal things. Come on, man.
Trump has no problem with white collar crime. Like he doesn't think white collar crime is a real thing. And that's what all of his pardons show. Like now if you rob somebody or stab somebody or anything like he thinks you should go to jail for a long time for that. But if you swindle a whole bunch of investors, like that's business. Like he doesn't think or like come on, who doesn't take a bribe? Like, see, that's the way he looks at it. Is like
Well, I
everybody
think he's
takes
taking bribes to do these pardons. That's my
Oh,
thing.
I think that it's very out in the open. Like there was a guy, one of the guys that he pardoned, that guy's mom, like went to one of those dinners where it was like you had to pay $1 million for a table or whatever,
Yeah.
and like she talked to him that night, and the next day her son got pardoned, and it's like
He was
okay,
also
clear.
like, wasn't he like a reality show? Was it Brian Kelsey?
I don't know who that was name wise. It could have been that guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's kind of opened it up for and also don't forget we have no clue who's buying his crypto. Like that's the number one way to funnel him money and it's off the books. So like everybody that's pardoning him could be investing in his meme coin or whatever the heck it's called. And like that right there and we would that's what makes him taking bribes through crypto so great for him. Is like that's the point of crypto. There's not a paper trail. Like we have no clue who's funneling money to him through that. So
Yeah. And he pardoned the guy from Silk Road, which I think that guy was fine.
People are saying the argument there is that like, oh, on that website, people died because of drug sales or human trafficking, all the different stuff. But also that guy was just running a website. So like I'm kind of like, I don't know. If you make a strong argument either way, I could probably listen to it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he directly did any of the crimes, but he just created the platform for it.
Yeah, he let it be facilitated on his website is what.
Yeah, he knew what was going on and didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's going on X? Like, there's probably some crazy shit going on behind the scenes. Like, if somebody sells cocaine to somebody through DM on X, is that Elon Musk's fault?
I don't know. I I've hit a point where I'm very weary on X now because Elon Musk just came out with the new messaging system on X, and it's supposed to be like the most encrypted messaging system. Like your messages are safe there. Like nobody can read them, including the people at Twitter. Like they're end-to-end total encryption.
I don't buy it.
I don't buy it at all. I think, yeah, I like one day, if it gets to the point where like Trump's coming for everybody who's ever said something bad about him, like I think Elon's going to turn over that information in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
And the more I hear Elon talk about his new end-to-end encryption, I'm like, man, I don't trust this at all. Like, I'm not sending anything like sensitive through that at all. So
no, definitely not. I mean, I was just going through all these pardons that Trump did, and most of them are wire fraud. One of them is violating the Bank Security Act, which is ignoring U.S. anti-money laundering laws in the order to boost revenue. Failure to pay taxes came up a lot. Committing bribery came up a lot. Bank fraud and tax evasion and tax fraud, securities fraud, bribery. So these are the things.
So, like I said, all of those have one thing in common. They're all white collar crimes. Like he doesn't think white collar. There's who's the victim. Like that's the way he looks at it.
They're also all millionaires or billionaires.
Of course. But the way he looks at it is like, who's the victim? There's no victim because nobody physically got hurt in his mind. There's no victim. Or it's like, no, like they either they cheated the American taxpayer because they didn't pay their taxes, or they swindled people out of money. Wire fraud. They through fraud they gained money from someone. But like that's not physical pain, so nobody really got hurt. If you were dumb enough to fall for that guy's Ponzi scheme, then you don't deserve your money back. Is the way he looks at it.
Yeah, he's a scam artist, and so he has sympathy for other scam artists. I mean, speaking of which, he's not paying the contractors who tore down the east wing of the
and he's in an argument with it. The architect apparently is trying to convince him because now they are now looking at 3 times the original size it was supposed to be, and the architect is telling him no, like this is a bad idea, we shouldn't do it, and he's basically telling the architect like I've been doing this a long time, buddy, I know what I'm doing. Just do it
3 times.
Yeah, we're now at like a 90,000 square foot thing or something. It's something ridiculous. So, yeah. Anyhow, that's why that nothing's happened right now. They demolished the old building so quick, and now they're arguing over the size of the venue. Because
what if this thing never gets done because no contractor wants to work for Trump because they know they're not going to get paid?
What's sad is I don't think that'll be the reason why, but like there's a strong chance that like because there's a couple of lawsuits about this right now, and there could be like a court injunction that then makes them stop all work, and they're going to say that he has to go through the proper channels that he should have gone through. There's historic committee committees and whatnot that are supposed to review the plans, and then it's going to get into a pissing match where they're going to say no to whatever he wants to do because it's too big and it's going to overshadow the White House, and he's going to try to fight them on it, and like there's a good chance that takes 3 years and like nothing ever gets built because he's arguing with the courts and the committees.
It's going to cost more money to rebuild that historic building than it would to build this ballroom, probably.
But in the meantime, though, he's taken in $300 million in donations. So if it never gets built, where does that money go? I don't know. It goes to him.
Who gave him those donations? Are these like individuals or
business leaders and like the billionaires? I think like Google and Facebook and all those companies have given money. So
I mean, and I've said this 1,000 times, we need to get money out of politics. These people, like you can't run the country and rip off the American people.
Oh, but you can. We're witnessing.
They figured it out. They're just ripping off the American people for money.
It turns out it's actually a lot easier than anybody thought it would be. You can just do it pretty much out in the open, and there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Yeah.
Like that's what's killing me is I think that there's always been an element of like the bribery and the who's got their hands in the politicians' pockets type thing. Mm-hmm. But like it's never been just front and center. Like when Trump invited them all to the inauguration, they all had like prime seating. That was like an indicator that like, oh, they're not hiding it. Like it used to be a shameful thing that you hid it and you denied it. But now he had the tech CEOs come to the White House and he was talking to Zuckerberg and he's like, and how much are you going to give me? And Zuckerberg was like, 600 billion. And then afterward, Zuckerberg was on a hot mic talking to Trump and he's like, I didn't know how much you wanted me to say there. Do you remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is they're flat out like, hi, I own Facebook and I'm going to give the president 600 billion or whatever it is, 600 million. And it's on TV. Like they're saying it into the camera.
Well, he wasn't going to give that to the president. He was going to reinvest it into the country, but Trump was probing him to make Trump look good, like he was bringing money into the country, and Zuckerberg was just his little patsy to
and Trump keeps saying like, yeah, we got 20 trillion or something is what he's saying of commitments for investment in America. And it's like, okay, let's see any of that pan out. Let's see how much of the 20 trillion. In his first term, he kept talking about all these things that were about to get built. Foxconn in Wisconsin is the one everybody talks about, but like they never even built it. Like it ended up costing that community a lot of money, and it never got built and never created a single job. Anyhow, let's see. I hope it happens. It'd be good for America if any of that investment comes through. I just don't see it happening. And while we're talking about just this in general, the thing that keeps killing me is they're like, yeah, we need to go in for the oil. Once we control the oil, it'll make us rich, is what they're saying. It's not going to make me and you rich at all. Somebody, BP or Chevron or Exxon or whoever it is going to get the contracts to go in, and them and their stockholders are going to get filthy rich. And we might save a tad on oil, but not much. We ain't getting. It's not America's getting the oil. We're going to pick what billionaires get the profits from that oil. That's how it's going to go.
We ain't getting shit.
Yep. Well, speaking of billionaires, I got a side topic for you real quick. We were talking about Rogan a lot last time, and I didn't want to talk about Rogan back to back, but I have to now. So first of all, Joe Rogan had Theo Vaughn on about a week ago, and Theo Vaughn was like, well, all the bad stuff Palantir is doing. And Joe stopped him, and Joe was like, hold on, wait, what? What is it you're saying? What is it you're saying Palantir's doing? And I think he specifically was doing this to Theo because he knew that Theo would not be able to verbalize it at all, and Theo couldn't. Theo was like, well, I mean, like they're doing the stuff. He almost trailed off. Like he didn't have anything prepared to say about it. And Joe was like, interesting. Like Joe didn't say this directly, but he basically was like, really? I haven't heard anything about Palantir doing this. And it was very odd to me because I'm like, old Joe Rogan would have definitely had, he would have had a lot to say about this. This would have been on his radar. But when you look at it and you look at who's connected to Palantir and who's been on Joe Rogan's show, well, I have a picture just to illustrate it.
Rogan, Palantir. Okay, so Palantir's in the middle.
These are all the people that are some way connected to Palantir. They're all billionaires also.
They've all been on his show. So let's just go through it. Peter Thiel, co-founder and chair. Chamath Palihapitiya.
That guy's on the All In podcast, which I never watched, but is apparently very popular.
So he's an investor in Palantir. Mark Andreessen, investor. Who else is Mark Andreessen? What is he?
Mark Andreessen is one of the people that went on Rogan's show before the election and was making it sound like the CFPB it's just out to get the working man. And it's like, no, it's protecting us from you. That's why I know who he is.
Oh, he's like Mr. Wonderful. I hate that guy now. And then you got JD Vance, investor and worked for Peter Thiel. He's kind of his puppet, isn't he?
People say that JD Vance was created by Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel financed his rise into politics.
Oh, Eric Weinstein, huh?
Yep.
Weinstein
currently works for Peter Thiel.
He works for Peter Thiel and manages his money. Whoa,
interesting, right? And that's a good Joe Rogan friend there.
And then Elon Musk, investor, and worked with Palantir during Doge.
And if you remember, during Doge was all the stuff about, like, supposedly our information, our data was being uploaded by these Doge kids into a cloud that we don't know where it went. And a lot of people were assuming it was going to Palantir, who builds AI surveillance systems and needs our data to make that work. That's never been proven. But the Palantir was saying that they were basically going to combine all of our data for the government, is what they were saying. And then at the same time, we know Doge is supposedly uploading our stuff into the cloud. Doge might have given all our data to Palantir, is basically.
Well, okay. So, but Palantir also obtained a contract to do that, actually, to put together all of our information, didn't they?
Yes. Yeah, with the government.
So, is that better than what Theo Vaughn said?
Well, but all the stuff that Palantir, and I don't know how much of this is, I'm going to say allegedly on this, because I don't know how much of this can be proven or is proven. But Palantir in Gaza, they were using like drones with cameras with Palantir's facial recognition software to like identify. And like there's a video where a drone flies into a hospital where there's a doctor standing there, and it flies right up to the doctor. The doctor just looks at it like, what's going on? And like a single bullet comes from the drone and shoots the guy right in the center of the forehead. And then the drone flies off and the guy just drops dead. That's on video. You can find this on Twitter
What?
very easily. You never saw that?
No, I didn't hear about this at all.
Oh my God, I'll find it and send it to you. This was a couple months ago. This was while the war was still going on between Israel and Gaza. Anyhow, the rumors about that drone is that supposedly it was a Palantir powered drone, and like their drones use facial recognition software. And what's scary is there's been allegations that there's not somebody piloting the drone. The drone is working on AI. It flies into the hospital. It makes a positive match. It pulls the trigger. Like nobody ever has to give it the thumbs up to do it. It does it on its own. That's the fear. And there's been demonstrations of this. These tech guys have gone on stage and talked about how the drones are going to be able to fly around, and if they see a killer, just make the decision. This is a bad guy. Take him out. And supposedly they were testing that in Gaza. That's all I'm going to say speculation. That's all allegedly, because I don't know how much of it's true and how much is not.
Okay. That's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Do you guys have the flock safety cameras?
I don't know.
Have you heard of these?
No, I don't.
So this is a big thing, and I think it's just in Denver. It might be all over Colorado, but they're putting up these flock safety cameras. They're these cameras basically hook up to Wi-Fi or a satellite or whatever, and then they also have like a solar panel on top of them, so they never run out of juice. Anyway, I just looked it up. So I've seen one, but I didn't really know what it was, and I've heard a couple people around here complain about them.
Okay.
And I just looked it up, and Flock Safety and Palantir are connected through surveillance technology.
Yeah.
So they're license plate readers. Cameras collect data that can be integrated into Palantir's platform for law enforcement and other uses.
It's Big Brother, 100%.
It's what?
Big Brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So they're just watching us now.
Yeah, all the time. It's the surveillance state. The right spent the last couple of years talking about the surveillance state and digital IDs and all this stuff that China's doing. And now, like, we're about to do it, and everybody's fine with it. Like, nobody on the right is complaining about this at all. And it's like, y'all were the ones
already doing it.
It's happening, and they're just silent.
This is crazy, man. We were living in a insane time.
Well, real quick before I get off of Rogan, so we see his connections to Palantir, right? We know Joe's friends with all those billionaires now. It makes sense why he talks the way he talks on his show, just through who he's connected to nowadays. Anyhow, AI. We talked about this months ago, but there's been a push. They realize that they've got to have the party in power be behind the AI play. They need that for AI to develop the way it needs to develop. So right now they got Trump on their side, and they need to keep the MAGA coalition thinking these AI data centers and AI development. They want them to be happy with this. They've tried to attack it through the religious angle, which is really weird to me. But there's tapes, we talked about it, where Peter Thiel is saying that he thinks if you try to stop AI from coming, that will bring apart the Antichrist. If you try to stop AI from developing,
he's the Antichrist.
Yeah, he very well could be. But and it's like, whoa, hold on, what is he? He's trying to say if you try to hinder or stop AI, it's going to bring about the Antichrist. Why would you try to say that unless you're trying to get those conservative evangelical Republicans on your side?
Sure.
And then there's been a couple other weird tying AI to religion, which is just, I can't see the connection, but they're trying it in different ways. Joe Rogan went on a podcast. I thought this was AI. I saw this a couple times, and I'm still not 100% sure it's not AI, because Joe doesn't go on other people's podcasts. But I saw this retweeted by enough people that I'm going to go on a limb and say I don't think it's AI anymore. Here's Joe Rogan and his take on AI and religion.
Jesus was born out of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? If Jesus does return, even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't think that he could return as artificial intelligence?
Oh my God.
Artificial intelligence could absolutely return as Jesus. Not just return as Jesus, but return as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus.
If you combine
right.
Tesla's Optimus robot and the best foundational artificial intelligence model or whatever.
It reads your mind and it loves you and it wants you. And it doesn't care if you kill it because it's going to just go be with God again.
I think that was AI.
So, you think that was AI?
Yeah. And on another note, Rogan's not fun anymore. He used to be fun.
No. He used
Like
to be,
even when he's talking to comedians, I haven't seen a clip where he's actually having fun.
That's why I don't listen to him. Even when he's talking to comedians, he's talking about politics or the vaccine, and it's not funny for me. I just want to watch and laugh. But I hope that was AI. Again, I've seen that clip. So and never was it community. Normally on Twitter, they're pretty good about the community notes and saying this is AI. Never saw that once on there. But if that's not AI, let's say it might be.
He's saying stoner thought.
But he's saying it goes along with what Peter Thiel and all them have been trying to do, where it's like, well, AI might be the second coming of Jesus, so we definitely can't stop it. We have to help fund it. If we have to pay more electricity costs, then that's what we got to do because this AI could be the second coming of Jesus. Like, huh? Anyhow, I wanted to bring that to your attention.
I'm dumbfounded by that. I'm so dumbfounded by that, actually.
It's so weird. And like,
I just think if that's real, I think that's just Joe Rogan's stoner thoughts. I think Peter Thiel is a psychopath.
I'm starting to think they're all psychopaths. And what's weird is we talked about this at one point, but like Elon might be the most normal of the billionaires because like the more you get to know about all of them, like Zuckerberg could be an alien or a robot. I'm not really sure what's going on with him, but he's odd. Peter Thiel is weird in a lot of ways. The thing I can't get past is that his skin is always wet. I don't know what it is, but that guy's skin is moist all the time. Like Elon's autistic, but he's also like the most normal of all of those like tech AI guys. Like
maybe
weird. Yeah,
he's just trying to fit in.
That's really weird. Okay,
he's awkward. Elon's just an awkward individual. Trying to fit in with these. Yeah, Peter Thiel just comes to my mind when the moistness.
Yeah. South Park has been pretty good on Peter Thiel right now, I will say.
Yeah.
And I finally watched the whole episode on the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
Brutal, the Hegseth. Well, good timing on that, too, because that came out like the day before this whole Hegseth story broke. So, like, great timing. But the fact that he's always, like, looking into the camera and saying like and subscribe, and he's got his selfie stick everywhere with him.
Yeah.
Like, him and Christy Noam have been the worst about that, where it's like they're just out to create content. Like, that's what they're doing. So...
Well, that's what Trump hired him for, to get in front of the cameras, be good in front of the cameras.
Exactly. I only have
traction.
I got two really quick things. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I had a question.
Okay.
Have you seen Trump's poll numbers lately? Is he still he's still tanking, right? It's still going down.
I don't know that there's been new ones since we talked on Friday night or Saturday night.
Okay,
that was the last ones I've seen.
I feel like I heard something today, and it was like, oh, it's still going down.
I think they're at the baseline. They're at like 37%, which
36%.
A lot of people think it can't possibly go lower than that because that's where you hit like the MAGA line, where like no matter what happens, those people are still with him. So
yeah, and I mean, if he fires Hegseth and Kash Patel, I guess he's going to get a little traction there.
I guess I don't know what could really give him a boost right now. If there was just a switch he could flip and the economy would get better, that's the one thing that could do it. But like, it's hard. Like, there's not an easy answer to how to make the economy work better. Like, so.
Have you heard any economy numbers in Oklahoma?
Or sure
job numbers?
I'm sure they're not good.
Okay. Yeah. I heard something about Colorado yesterday or the day before.
Well, today the new ADP job numbers came out, and we lost like 42,000 jobs in November, I guess is what they said.
So we're losing jobs now.
Yeah, so far we've lost jobs almost 4 out of the last 6 months is what we've lost jobs.
Okay.
So
they apparently in Colorado it's just everything's running flat. Like there's no new jobs created, it's just super flat. That's what I heard. And then Oklahoma, there's 104 job openings. Okay. 104,000 job openings.
Okay. We need more people. Come to Oklahoma.
So
real quick, did you hear we finally got the long-awaited results to Trump's MRI?
Oh, no.
Okay. So
hold on. We got the results to his MRI?
Yeah.
Like
they released everything.
They did?
Full transparency.
Full bullshit.
So, real quick, this was Trump flying back Sunday night. Tim Walz, if you remember this from last show, Trump called Tim Walz seriously R-worded, and a lot of people took offense to that. And then Tim Walz replied with a single tweet where it said, like, we need to see the MRI results or something, basically implying that something's wrong with Trump. So they asked Trump about that on the plane. Here's that quick clip.
Governor Walz asked you to release MRI records.
Will you tell us what it was Governor for? Walz, you mean the incompetent Governor Walz? So if they want to release it, it's okay with me to release it. It's perfect. What was the reason? It's like my phone call where I got impeached. It's absolutely perfect. So if you want to hear about it or if you want to release it, do you want to have it released? Yes, News Nation, failing News Nation. No, sir, we're not failing. News Nation is doing lousy, by the way. But if you want to have it released, I'll release it. Yes, please. Can you tell us what they were looking at? For what, releasing? No. What part of your body was the MRI looking at? I have no idea. It was just an MRI. What part of the body? It wasn't the brain because I took a cognitive test and I aced it. I got a perfect mark, which you would be incapable of doing. Goodbye, everybody. You too.
Holy shit! Such a
that was so.
Why is he mad at News Nation?
I don't know, but that lady caught a stray at the end where he was like, because you would have failed it. Bye. Oh yeah, and you too. And he like, there's the girl. If I'm not gonna play the clip again, but like when he said you too, she like turned to everybody like, what the fuck did I do? It was kind of comical. But again, he said he got the MRI, and they asked him what part of the body, and he was like, I don't know. Hold on, like. I find it so hard to believe that they would be like, hey, we're also going to do an MRI. And he would just be like, okay. And like have no questions, or they wouldn't explain to him why they're doing it or what they're looking at. Like, a little ridiculous. But I will. So in that clip, he screwed up and he said, yeah, I have no problem releasing it. Like, he said, would you like me to release it? And the lady was like, yeah. So he's like, all right, I'll release it. So the next day, Carolyn Levitt came out. I didn't pull the clip of her. This is hysterical because you could tell that Trump kept saying that his MRI was perfect. Okay. Remember how many times he said it was a perfect MRI? Well, he got with the doctors, and you could tell there was some tug of war because they were wanting the doctors to say it was perfect, and the doctor was like, "We can't do that." So, like in the second paragraph here, President Trump's cardiovascular imaging is perfectly normal. So, a doctor would never say perfectly normal, is what every doctor says. They would just say it was normal or abnormal. But even in in the next paragraph down, his abdominal imaging is also perfectly normal. So Trump was just like, will you put the word perfect in there? And they're like, like
this guy.
So anyhow,
full transparency, bro.
So that's what we got. It was of his cardiovascular system and his abdominal region, and it was perfectly normal.
So they're checking his organs, his heart.
Cardiovascular. So he's got the fat ankles. He's got venous insufficiency syndrome. So that makes this is one of those where they could have handled this so much better and it would have gone away. They could have been like, oh yeah, he got an X-ray. Remember we told you he has the chronic venous insufficiency stage 4? Like we told you that. They're doing a follow-up, and it turned out the follow-up went pretty good. No big issues. If they just come
probably what happened. That's probably exactly what happened.
It's almost exactly what happened, and they're probably treating it. He had it. His ankles puffed up. It was obvious. Yeah. They probably I don't know what they would do for that. If they normally they would tell him to do some cardio, but we know he's not doing that. But I bet there's some kind of drugs they're giving him to help with blood flow or something. And they probably did an X-ray to look at it and said, "Oh shit, the drugs we're giving you are helping, so good to go." Probably what happened. But instead, they tried to just hide it. And when you hide it, then you leave everything open to speculation. Oh, I wonder if it's this. I wonder if it's that. Anyhow. Also, I found the cognitive exam, and I don't know if there's multiples of them, but I Googled what cognitive exam did Donald Trump take, and I took it, and it's not very fucking hard, is all I'm going to say. Like, if you... That's all I'm going to say. Anyhow. So, full transparency.
Do we put a link to that on the...
Now, what we should do one day when we don't have anything to talk about, which is never going to happen under Trump, but one day if we have nothing to talk about, we'll both take that exam on air and see how we do.
Oh yeah.
So save that in your back pocket for later. The only other thing I had for tonight, Trump spent all day, and I think it was what was the date here? I think it was Friday, or no, so it would have been last Tuesday. Trump spent all day arguing in court. This is I don't even know what paper this is from.
Wait, Trump actually went to court?
I know Trump's lawyers did.
Okay.
But President Donald Trump argued Tuesday that former special counsel Jack Smith's final report chronicling the criminal case against him for hoarding classified documents at Mar-a-Lago should never be made public.
Nope.
Those were supposed to be made public at a certain point, and Judge Cannon, if you remember Judge Eileen Cannon, who he had appointed and was giving him all the favorable rulings, she keeps delaying the release, and she's giving Trump ample time to argue in court that it should not be released. According to the law, apparently it definitely should be released, but anyhow, so they're arguing, and I'll bet money she's going to say no, they can't be released. He's spending a lot of effort. We already know he had the documents. We've seen the pictures of the documents in his bathroom. So it makes me think like whatever's in that classified report is going to not be good for him, and probably will say that he had wasn't just little stuff he had that was top secret. It was probably big stuff he had that was top secret. And
oh yeah,
anyhow,
and maybe there was some files missing.
He's going to make sure that that never comes out, and I'll bet he's successful at it. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
Okay. Huh.
Yep.
Interesting. I heard his lawyer. What is it, Lena Ha? No,
Alina
not Lena
Habba Alina Habba was his lawyer, but then he tried to place her in as the AG in New Jersey, and then they just found that her appointment was unconstitutional, along with the girl in Virginia. I can't remember her name right now. Lindsay something. The one that tried to charge Comey.
So his lawyers are unconstitutional.
So when you fire an attorney general or a district attorney, I think is what it is, a district attorney, you can appoint a temporary one, but only for 120 days, which is 4 months. Okay. And during that time, you have to get a new one confirmed by the Senate. If you can't get one within 120 days, then the federal appeals court for that area gets to pick the new district attorney until you get one through. Trump just tried to keep reappointing them. Like 120 days is up, I'm appointing her again, and you can't do that. So he needs.
So essentially, we don't have a district attorney. He doesn't have a district attorney.
We have one, but it's one that's going to be picked by it's like the district appeals court is going to select this. Yeah, and they'll pick a good prosecutor. I'm sure they'll make a good choice. But if he doesn't like that, if he thinks that Habba, or her name's Lindsay Halligan, I think, if he wants to try to get either of them confirmed by the Senate, then put their nomination up. The problem is the senators have already told him, nah, sorry, we're not passing either of those two. So that's why he keeps trying to just reappoint them.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, that's all I got for tonight. You got anything else?
No.
Okay.
I am done. These people are insane.
Got it. Well, I'm going to Texas this weekend, and I have some MAGA people down there that I haven't talked to in a while about politics. I'm not going to bring it up, but I'm hoping that it comes up naturally, and I'll have something to report on when I come back. So,
here we go.
See how that goes. So, all right, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, late.
Sometimes you eat the bar, sometimes the bar eats you.